Welcome to China Insights. I'm your host, Katie. Multiple cities across China are reporting new cases of the novel coronavirus, including a more contagious strain recently discovered in the UK. However, government and unofficial sources are giving differing accounts as to just how severe the outbreaks are. In the north, the metropolises of Shenyang, Dalian, and Shijiazhuang have all reported new cases, including superspreaders. In Shanghai and Guangdong province of southern China, the B117 mutation was found in positive tests of 2 people following the new year. Both were students who returned to China from the UK last December. The Chinese government has only reported a trickle of new cases since March 2020, and often claims that they are imported from abroad. But locals in the affected cities say that the outbreaks are much larger. In addition, the scale of measures taken to contain the virus hint at a more serious threat. Areas in 7 Chinese provinces and regions have declared wartime preparations to deal with COVID-19. These include Hebei, Liaoning, Heilongjiang, Henan, Ningxia, Inner Mongolia, and Beijing. Shijiazhuang is the capital of Hebei province, with 11 million people living in the built-up and the suburban areas. On January 6, the city government ordered all 11 million of those people to get nucleic acid testing within 4 days. Residents of Shijiazhuang told overseas Chinese media that they have been under strict lockdown for days. A college student said that he and other undergraduates have been confined to their campus since September. Social media posts show empty grocery stores as people stock up for possible crisis. Meanwhile, the authorities have closed 10 highways leading out of the city. Vehicles with plates from Shijiazhuang are turned back if they enter Beijing, which is a few hours' drive away. The Communist Party-run Global Times said that Shijiazhuang is facing rare, strict overall prevention measures against COVID-19. However, the paper claims the measures are nothing like the total lockdown in Wuhan at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. Aside from Shijiazhuang, cases have been reported in the nearby city of Xingtai, which has 8 million people, in Liaoning province of northeast China. The cities of Shenyang and Dalian have seen surges of new coronavirus cases. Another outbreak was recently reported in Heihe, Heilongjiang province. In Shenyang, the city entered what the Communist Party calls wartime mode on December 23rd. That was after a woman in her 60s came back from South Korea and came down with COVID-19. According to the city government, around 70 people had been in contact with her by the time she was tested. As with Shijiazhuang, it is impossible to tell how close the official statistics come to reality. But in every case, the lockdowns are strict and the measures costly. In one residential community, people were only allowed to get food delivered to the entrance of the housing development. All social gatherings throughout Liaoning province were banned as part of the wartime measures. Wartime mode is a term Communist China applies to various crises. It's been used often during the coronavirus pandemic. For instance, the city of Chengdu in southwestern China entered wartime mode on December 8th after at least 6 residents were diagnosed. In addition, the government is getting ready for a surge of infections starting with the annual Chinese New Year migration. Many cities are attempting to restrict in- and outbound travels. Leaked documents show that in affected areas, local authorities are being ordered to stock up on food and other essential supplies. Now, you might be wondering why the recent outbreaks are a big deal. After all, there are more than 20 million confirmed cases in the United States, and that number is growing every day. On January 7th alone, more than 3,000 Americans die from the coronavirus. So, if China is only occasionally reporting new outbreaks, doesn't that mean they're doing a good job of controlling the epidemic? The answer is maybe. As I mentioned previously, there's no way of knowing how accurate the official numbers are. But reports from locals and the overwhelming wartime mode responses by the authorities show that they could have some big secrets to hide. Lockdowns and mass testing takes lots of resources. And in China, the lockdowns are serious. They have police manning checkpoints to prevent people from leaving their districts, and sometimes you can be detained for simply being outside. In Wuhan, some residents were even trapped inside their homes by police who welded iron bars outside their doors. And the lockdowns may prevent the spread of the virus, but they also cause economic damage, which is not something that the Chinese government can afford too much of. According to Chinese economists such as Yao Yang and He Qinglian, the country's unemployment rate is much higher than the official figure. Yao, an economist at Peking University, estimated that due to the pandemic, 15% of the population was unemployed, while another 5% were partially unemployed. He Qinglian, who lives in the US, cited other sources stating that the unemployment rate was at least 20% of the workforce, or more than 100 million people. Many of those unemployed would be the so-called migrant workers who move from the countryside to find jobs in the cities. The lockdowns of early 2020 forced many of them to stay home, where employment opportunities are scarce. The economic cost means that if the situation was not that serious, the government would not take such drastic measures to control the virus. Furthermore, the Chinese Communist Party also has to maintain a public image of success. According to official statistics, less than 90,000 cases have been confirmed across China's 1.4 billion people, despite the pandemic having begun in China. The official death toll stands at less than 5,000. Independent research has called those figures into doubt. As early as last February, analysis of Wuhan's crematorium showed that tens of thousands of people had died from the coronavirus in that city alone over a period of 2 weeks. Victory over the coronavirus pandemic is central to the government's propaganda narrative that China's authoritarian model is more efficient than Western political freedom. It is also important for attracting foreign investment to China. For these reasons, it is likely that the party does not report anything close to the true numbers. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more China insights.